Hey story lovers. If you're into mystery, suspense, and unexpected twists, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Isabella stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of their penthouse suite, the city lights twinkling like distant stars beneath a velvet night sky. The familiar hum of the metropolis seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat, a quiet anticipation that had been simmering beneath the surface for days. She wore a silk robe that clung effortlessly to her curves, the faint scent of jasmine trailing in the air as Raylan's footsteps echoed softly behind her. Raylan was unlike anyone she had ever met, bold, confident, and unafraid to explore the edges of desire and control. Their marriage was far from conventional, an ever-evolving dance of power and passion. Tonight, however, he promised something different, something daring. He approached her slowly, eyes dark with intent. "Isabella," he murmured, his voice low and smooth, "I want to take us somewhere new. Somewhere beyond what we've done before." She turned to face him, curiosity flickering in her eyes. "What do you mean?" Raylan's grin was mischievous, laced with a challenge. "I want us to experience an ultimate adventure, one that tests our limits, not just physically, but emotionally. It's a game, but also a journey. You, me, and two others. For souls entwined in a night where boundaries blur." Isabella's breath caught. The idea was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. She was no stranger to passion, yet the thought of inviting others into their intimate world stirred a complex mix of jealousy, excitement, and intrigue. "Two others," she echoed, searching his face for any sign of hesitation. "Yes," Raylan replied, stepping closer until his hand gently brushed her cheek. "It's not just about pleasure. It's about trust, control, surrender, and discovering parts of ourselves we've never dared to show." Her mind raced. Would this shatter the fragile equilibrium of their marriage, or would it forge them closer in ways she couldn't yet imagine? Isabella felt the thrill of the unknown beckoning, a promise of wild freedom masked in velvet shadows. She studied his eyes and found there a rare vulnerability beneath his daring exterior. It was a silent plea, an invitation to leap together into uncharted territory. "Who are these others?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Raylan smiled knowingly. "Celeste and Liam. Two people who understand the delicate balance of power and passion. You've met Celeste before, she's captivating, mysterious, and unafraid to explore the darker corners of desire. Liam is her counterpart, intense, charming, and fiercely protective." Isabella nodded slowly, memories flickering of Celeste's enigmatic smile at a recent dinner party, and the way Liam's gaze had lingered a little too long when they crossed paths. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, searching his face for reassurance. Raylan cupped her face gently. "Only if you want to. This isn't a game I play alone. It's our story, Isabella. And whatever happens, we'll face it together." Her heart pounded, caught between fear and fascination. Slowly, she reached out, taking his hand in hers, a silent promise passing between them. "Okay," she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind inside her. "Let's do it." As Raylan pulled her into a deep embrace, the city outside seemed to fade, leaving only the charged space between them, the threshold of a night that would forever change the way they understood love, power, and themselves. The evening air was cool but charged with anticipation as the sleek black car pulled up to the entrance of Raylan and Isabella's penthouse. The city lights spilled like liquid gold through the windows, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. Inside, the soft hum of jazz mixed with the faint clinking of crystal glasses, creating a backdrop both intimate and electric. Isabella stood by the grand entrance, her heart fluttering as the doorbell rang. She adjusted her emerald green dress, the fabric hugging her figure in all the right places, and smoothed her hair. Tonight was more than just a gathering, it was a delicate balance between desire and control, vulnerability and strength. The door swung open to reveal Celeste, her presence commanding yet enigmatic. She moved with the grace of someone who knew the power she wielded, her midnight black dress shimmering under the chandelier's light. Her eyes, dark and mysterious, locked with Isabella's in a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken adventure they were about to embark upon. Behind Celeste was Liam, a tall, striking man with piercing blue eyes and a confident smile. His tailored suit hinted at both sophistication and a hint of rebellion. As he stepped inside, the energy in the room shifted subtly, his gaze flicked over Isabella and then Raylan, appraising but respectful. Raylan greeted them with a warm smile, his hand extending in welcome. "Celeste, Liam, thank you for joining us." Celeste's smile was slow, deliberate. "The pleasure is ours. I've heard much about this unique proposition." Her voice was smooth, with a hint of challenge. Isabella felt a flush rise to her cheeks but held her composure. "We're all here to explore boundaries," she said, meeting Celeste's gaze evenly. The group moved into the spacious living room, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Raylan poured glasses of aged whiskey, the amber liquid catching the light as it filled the crystal. They settled into deep leather chairs, the conversation flowing easily at first, light teasing, subtle glances, and the occasional charged silence. Liam's presence was magnetic. He was charming, effortlessly drawing Isabella into stories of his travels and passions. Celeste, meanwhile, exuded an aura of control and mystery, her sharp wit cutting through the playful banter. As the night deepened, the tension between them became palpable. Eyes lingered a little too long, touches brushed against skin with increasing intent. The room felt smaller, more intimate, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Raylan finally broke the silence, his voice low and deliberate. "We've shared the idea, now it's time to let the night unfold. No rules, except trust and respect. Are we all ready to embrace the unknown?" Celeste's smile was a slow curve of acceptance. "I've been ready for a while." Liam nodded, his gaze unwavering. "This is about connection, about peeling back the layers. I'm in." Isabella took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. She glanced at Raylan, who gave her a reassuring nod. "Let's begin," she whispered. As the four of them moved closer, the night stretched ahead, a canvas waiting to be painted with desire, vulnerability, and power. The music softened, the lights dimmed to a warm glow, and the world outside seemed to dissolve. Inside the penthouse, the air was thick with anticipation, charged with a raw electricity that made every breath seem heavier, every glance more meaningful. Isabella's pulse raced as she stood between Raylan and Celeste, Liam close by. The earlier conversation, the teasing glances, the subtle touches, they had all built toward this moment, a moment where boundaries would dissolve and trust would be absolute. Raylan's hand found hers, fingers intertwining, grounding her even as the thrill of the unknown surged through her veins. "Remember," he whispered, "you're in control as much as you surrender. Trust me." She nodded, the warmth of his breath against her skin steadying her nerves. Around them, Celeste's eyes sparkled with mischief, while Liam's calm gaze was both reassuring and electrifying. Slowly, the space between them shrank, bodies drawing closer until the distinctions blurred. The night unfolded like a delicate dance, sensual, intense, and deeply vulnerable. Celeste's fingers traced the curve of Isabella's shoulder, sending shivers down her spine. Liam's voice was a low murmur in her ear, grounding her with whispered promises of respect and care. Isabella's breath hitched as she surrendered to the moment, allowing the waves of sensation to wash over her. The mingling of bodies, the interplay of power and vulnerability, it was unlike anything she had ever experienced. Raylan's hands were gentle yet possessive, a constant reminder of their bond even as they explored new territory. Celeste and Liam's presence was a catalyst, unlocking desires Isabella hadn't fully acknowledged before. The night was not just about physical pleasure, it was a journey into trust, an exploration of emotional depths and power dynamics. Isabella found herself both giving and receiving control, discovering strength in surrender. As the hours passed, the boundaries between them continued to dissolve. The penthouse became a sanctuary, a place where desire and trust intertwined in a delicate balance. When the first light of dawn crept through the windows, Isabella lay nestled between Raylan and Celeste, Liam close beside them. The night had been transformative, an intimate voyage that had reshaped their understanding of connection and love. In the quiet aftermath, Isabella felt a profound sense of peace. She had stepped into the unknown, surrendered her fears, and emerged stronger, more connected than ever. Raylan's voice was soft as he brushed a stray lock of hair from her face. "Thank you for trusting me." She smiled, her heart full. "Thank you for showing me what freedom truly means." The soft morning light filtered gently through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting a warm glow across the room where four bodies lay intertwined, still breathing in the aftermath of the night's raw intensity. The penthouse was quiet now, the buzz of the city far below seeming distant and insignificant compared to the intimacy that had just unfolded. Isabella stirred slowly, her body wrapped in a soft silk sheet, her skin still tingling from the night's tender explorations. She turned her head to see Raylan watching her, his eyes reflecting a mixture of affection and admiration. Nearby, Celeste and Liam were sharing a quiet conversation, their faces softened by the vulnerability they had all shared. For Isabella, the night had been more than just an experience of pleasure, it was a profound journey into trust, surrender, and connection. The walls she had built around her heart began to crumble, replaced by a newfound openness and acceptance, not only of herself but of the complex tapestry of desire and emotion she had always feared. Raylan's hand found hers once again, fingers lacing together like a promise. "How do you feel?" he asked gently, his voice still husky from sleep. Isabella paused, searching for the right words. "Free," she whispered. "More alive than ever before. And strangely, at peace." Celeste smiled knowingly, her eyes sparkling with a quiet confidence. "That's the power of true surrender. It's not about losing yourself, it's about finding yourself in others. Liam nodded in agreement. It's about trust. Trust that allows you to explore the unknown and still feel safe. As the morning unfolded, they shared stories and laughter, a natural ease settling over the group. There was no awkwardness, no regrets, only the deep understanding that what they had shared was rare and precious. Isabella's thoughts drifted to how much she had changed in just one night. The fears that once held her back had been replaced by a daring curiosity, a hunger to explore not just the physical, but the emotional landscapes of intimacy. Raylan pulled her close, his touch gentle. "This is only the beginning," he murmured. "Our journey isn't over, it's evolving." She smiled, feeling the warmth of his words and the promise of more to come. In that moment, surrounded by the people who had become more than just companions for a night, Isabella knew she had discovered a new kind of love, one that was limitless, fearless, and deeply real. The afterglow was not just about pleasure, it was about transformation. About embracing vulnerability and strength in equal measure. About rewriting the rules and finding beauty in the unexpected. As the city outside awoke to a new day, inside the penthouse, for souls rested in the comfort of connection, a bond forged in trust, passion, and the courage to surrender.